Oi, 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 oi. What's up, guys? This is Cobb, and welcome to the free-to-play account, would you believe it? After not quite 1 month, but you know what, I'm going to shoot this video now anyway. We're about to get our hands on good old Haikatoon and a Void Shard, closing out the first 30 days of this free-to-play account, and it's review time. We're going to talk about champs that we have maxed up so far, champions that I want to be maxing up next, how we are set up in terms of collecting shards and stuff in our first, I guess, 28 days of this account. The current clan versus clan is also going great as well. Lovely, so that gives you an idea of when I'm actually shooting this video. Look at that, man. I'm one of like the weakest power level players in the clan, but we just putting the grind in and we're doing great. So it's going lovely. All in all, man, this is our champion roster so far. Of course, Sun Wukong is our campaign farmer. Just maxed him up first, and so just happens to be the way that we have him built out. We also spent our first 800 gems after leveling up the gem mine, I should say, on Wukong's masteries, and maybe that's the best first thing to cover, man. How did I spend my gems on this account? I spent the first huge batch of gems just leveling up the gem mine all the way up to max, and then we purchased Sun Wukong's masteries. Turns out that as long as you're doing like your missions and your challenges and stuff on a new account, that you can get both done very, very quickly anyway, within like a week and a half to 2 weeks. Not really too difficult to get those done. And all of my gems after that have gone into leveling up the Guardian Ring to at least unlock all of these slots, so I can be leveling up a whole bunch of food champions just passively in the background. And so that's why I'm basically out of gems, you know. I spent all of those doing all of those very, very early things and just getting the account set off to the best possible stat that I can. And now it's going to be a matter of just saving gems over the course of the next couple months until I can eventually look to get involved in what's probably going to be the first fusion event, man. And hey, let me tell you something. If this is getting you all wiggly to start off a new free-to-play account of your own, then why not play along with us, man, and see how you do with an alt account yourself, or just a fresh new start in Raid. Of course, use my beginner promo link, which is down below at the top of the video description, to jumpstart your new account with 4 free epic champions, 3 of which at least are absolutely S tier, starting off with Ugo, Vegas, and Fane. All incredible. Romero's doing his best, okay, but 4 free epic champions, one of the best beginner promo links going. Yeah, just make sure that you're signed out of Plarium Player on your PC before clicking on that link and downloading Raid and making a new account to make sure that you get your hands on all of these saucy free rewards. You can also then head on into the game in your very first day and input beginner promo code MidGameTop to get a free legendary champion, Sigmund the High Shield, when your account hits level 30. And so that's just an additional champ to get on top of an already incredible start. And yeah, the best way possible to start off a fresh new Raid adventure, man. Okay, let's break down the champs that we have built so far, shall we? Of course, Sun Wukong, our first level 60, as mentioned already, got our masteries built out on him too, and he is acting as our campaign farmer. Very, very pleased indeed to have him built out with some crit rate gauntlets. If you're a new player watching this, bro, try to get some crit rate gauntlets on your campaign farmer and on your damage dealers as quickly as you possibly can. It's going to be the easiest way in the like early months of your account to build out your damage dealers with that all important 100% crit rate, as you can see down here. 4 or 5 star gloves are going to be best to get you the most of that primary stat. And yeah, we managed to get our Sun Wukong built out with almost actually exactly 100% crit rate, which is just great. And that's helping us out a hell of a lot. It really doesn't matter what set you're getting the crit rate gauntlets on, as long as you have 4 pieces of decent lifesteal gear across the rest of your campaign farmer, and you'll do just fine. What I will say is that one thing that I'm waiting for on this account, now that I have a few champs sort of approaching level 60, because my Kale is up there as well, is I'm just waiting for the next Dragon Dungeon tournament. I want to be farming stage 10 to 16 if I can. Stage 16 would be lovely, stage 10 would be reasonable. I want to be farming the next Dragon tournament when that begins on this free-to-play account, because now that I'm like 1 month in, I really just need some better gear on the account, and the Dragon tournaments almost always give you an increased chance of getting speed gear to drop from the Dragon, right? You can also get some better lifesteal pieces and stuff as well, but the speed gear is going to be very, very important. Speed set is one of the best farmable sets in the game, especially when you're still very early on in your account, and so I'm looking to hopefully farm as much, 5-star speed gear as I possibly can during the next Dragon tournament, and that's going to help out a lot of my champs. But as you can see, Kale is my next 6-star champ. He's currently working his way up towards level 60. I have not bought my masteries on him with gems, of course. We're going to be farming those up in Minotaur. And then another champ that we've taken up to 5 stars is a champ I was very, very, very excited to build out. And right now he's in a lot of very, very shoddy speed gear, which is kind of odd. There's some pieces here that are like very, very low level, but we actually triple rolled. We triple rolled speed on this weapon. So even though it's only 3 stars, I just kept on rolling every time it hit speed. And yeah, we got very, very lucky with upgrades on that. And we actually managed to build out the apothecary with 200 speed total. This is like really good for a 1-month-old account. Like, I'm very, very happy with that, man. The apothecary is doing great. Sadly, I don't have any accessories that I can put on him. It would be lovely if I could have hit some of those as well, but this is the kind of champ that I'm looking for even better speed gear for as soon as the next Dragon tournament rolls around as well. Apothecary, great into many, many areas of the game. The reason I maxed him out next, or at least I'm going to take him to level 50 next, and maybe leave him there for a little while, is because of the triple hit on his A1. This is going to be very, very useful for dealing additional damage into Clan Boss eventually, when we eventually get his masteries built out and stuff. That's more of like a thing for the future, but because it's triple hit at A1, he's going to be very, very good at breaking through the Fire Knight boss's shield stacks in the Fire Knight dungeon, and so yeah, Apothecary is going to be a big, big help there. But most importantly, he brings the strong version of increased speed and a little bit of 10 meter fill as well on his A3, which means as long as he's the fastest champion on my team, I can put him in all of my arena teams, everywhere in the game really, and he's going to go first, and he's going to get these very, very important buffs and 10 meter fill triggers going up very, very early indeed. In fact, he actually needs to be ascended to get the 10 meter fill on his A3. Do I have the resources to do that right now? It's gonna do that live right now, dude. Okay, yeah, we do. Let's just get him up to level 3 ascension real quick so he actually gets those extra bonuses, man. Okay, lovely. So that's Apothecary, man. I'm excited to be building this guy out because I have the Apothecary build up at level 50. When I get the High Katoon from the daily login rewards in a couple days, I might just leave her at level 40 for a while. I don't see any reason to rush her up to level 50 or 60 anytime soon, even though she's a great champ and she can do a lot of work for us on the account. Apothecary is kind of filling that job of the increased speed boss for the time being. So that's that, man. Next up, we've got Tyrell. I also took Rector Drath up to 5 stars as well. I'm just taking a bunch of champs up to 5 stars that I plan on leaving at 5 stars for quite a while. And these are 2 of those champs. I don't think I need to rush these guys up to 60 kind of anytime soon. I'm not going to decide which champs I take up to level 60 next for one simple reason, man. Because we have a whole bunch of ancient shards sitting here, ready to rock and roll, okay, ready to pull as soon as a 2x event begins. We don't know when that's coming. I predict it's probably going to come in like a week or 2, whenever the next fusion event begins. I'm predicting it's going to be a 2x ancient shard pulling event during the champion chase tournament of the upcoming fusion, so I might have to wait a couple of weeks to pull these. But then based on what I pulled from these shards during the 2x event, I can then decide from there what I want to use my resources on to take up as my next level 60 champ. I can't really decide right now. I'm just going to have a little bit of patience and wait for that event to roll around. However, that's champs that I've kind of maxed up so far. Don't ask why the Rector Drath is in a retaliation set, by the way. It's just one of those things. Okay, you got to max up certain items and stuff for for mission rewards and things like that, and challenges and whatever. I just happened to throw these on the Rector Drath so that she wasn't dying instantly. That's really all there is to it. Next up, we've got our good old champs that we're planning on taking up to level 50. Next, at least, that is going to be Nalhorn on this account. So happy to have pulled this guy. It might just be a rare champ. I actually pulled him from a mystery shard, but he can do so much work for us, dudes. Oh my god. Okay. So his A1 is, there's not really a whole lot to his A1, at least in the early game, but yeah, damage increases according to how much HP this champ has lost. Fair enough. His A2, this is what it's all about, man. I also spent some skill bucks into Nalhorn just to get the cooldown reduction on this A2 more than anything during the current CVC. That's live right now at the time of shooting this video. Places a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn and increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns. Basically, massive wave control. He's going to keep my damage dealers alive, which is a big problem for me right now because I am starting to get advanced quests on this account to use silver keys in the Doom Tower, which means I need to spam all my silver keys into just the first Doom Tower boss, right? And just like use them to farm forge supplies from the first Doom Tower boss. Yeah, we can't even beat the early waves, bro. We can't even get to the first Doom Tower boss, which of course is waiting for us up here. I just can't live for long enough against the waves. I can't kill the waves quick enough. They just kill my damage dealers. I'm just too squishy. And so having a good, reliable provoker like the Gnarlhorn is going to help me out a hell of a lot. I'm going to see if I can get it done with just leveling the Gnarlhorn up to level 50. And hopefully that will get us through towards the first boss on Doom Tower. And then we can actually be spending our silver keys and getting these advanced quests done much more reliably. And it is important, it works your way towards all of these extra rewards, including these saucy skill tomes, and the big 5-star chicken are huge, as well as, of course, the daily energy refill, which we are so close to, but we are, yeah, so close but so far, right? So that's the situation right now with my champion upgrades on the free-to-play. So other champs that we want to take up as well alongside Gnarlhorn, kind of eventually, and this is a big eventually, is going to be Painkeeper, who actually has a decrease the cooldowns of all ally skills by 110 on a A3. This is a great champ to have. She is very costly in terms of ranking up her skills, because a lot of the skill bucks can kind of get spammed into this A2, and so you need just a lot of rare skill tomes to sort of max up and build your Painkeeper. So she's on the back burner for now. She's a champ that I've definitely got my eye on. Of course, War Maiden is another one. Very easy to max up her skills by just farming copies of War Maiden in Brutal Campaign. Stage 9, which is where she drops, and so she's well on her way as well. However, I did also spend most of my early epic tomes this CVC on just maxing out the Tyrell as well. So he's kind of doing the same job as War Maiden, except a little bit better with the AoE decreased defense, and so I'm in no super rush to take the War Maiden up to max level, for example. You know, she'll probably eventually go up to 50 just to help me out in Barbarian Faction Wars and in things like Tag Arena teams and stuff like that, but yeah, not ultra mega priority. I do feel like Diabolus is another champ that's like totally slept on. I need to start using her copies to level up her skills as well, but she's a very easy rare champ to max up. Brings a lot of utility. I'd highly recommend that if you're a new player starting off your account, that you keep one Diabolist and use all of the other copies of Diabolist to max up her skills and just take her up to level 50. She'll do a good job for you as well, man. She brings a little bit of 10 meter fill for allies on her A3 and fills the 10 meter of fills the 10 meter of allies, but also decreases the 10 meter of enemies by 15% on the A3 as well, and brings an attack all enemies increase speed strong version on allies for 2 turns on an A2 as well. A lot of people say Diabolus just isn't worth keeping. I think you're crazy as hell. I think that for how easy she is to build, just take her to level 50, man. I mean, I did that on my main account. I still use it to this day in Demon Faction Wars and Secret Rooms and stuff like that, you know? She's definitely a very solid little champ to sort of have in your back pocket, man. Actually, that's something that we'll cover next on this account as well, man. Now I think about it, I will progress towards completing our very first fusion. Let me tell you something, okay? As much as I'm saving energy and stuff in things like the limited series here that I haven't clicked share on yet, I've actually only got 2 left. I thought I had more than this, but you can get some free energy from these. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this energy on the next Dragon tournament, just to farm as much speed gear as I possibly can, but I'm saving a hell of a lot of energy all up and over here as well, just for use potentially in what might be our first fusion event on this account, like 2 months from now. I'm planning way in advance for this thing, right? So any energy and gems that we can stockpile on this account are going to be very useful for us for doing our first fusion event, probably in a couple of months. Wow, our first fusion event might actually be like the Christmas fusion. I don't know if we can do that in time. Depends when it launches, right? Depends when it launches, but that'd be kind of fun, man. That'd be kind of cool to do, right? But yeah, we're saving up all of our free energy potions here. I'm going to start saving my gems up as well. Similar story. Shards are a whole other matter. Getting our hands on sacred shards, we've got 1 so far. I don't even remember where the hell we got it from. Maybe it was from like 3-starring campaign. Yeah, hard campaign. Okay, so for like 3-starring all of hard campaign, you get yourself that free sacred shard. I need to get my hands on ideally at least like 4 or 5 sacred shards before you can even think about doing your first fusion. It's usually 4 or 5 sacred shards and then like 50 ancients. It's like the absolute bare minimum that you can usually get through a fusion event on. If you pull like sacreds and like 1,000 mystery shards during the Summon Rush event, you can usually get through that event in those monthly fusions by just pulling those resources. And so it's doable maybe a little bit earlier than some people think on a brand new account, even being completely free to play. You just have to start preparing for it very early on indeed. And so that is the plan with that, man, as far as fusion progress goes. So I guess one other thing that we've also been doing is just trying to save up fusion champs where we can. It's kind of tough to make progress in these when you're first getting started because you're kind of just using a lot of uncommons as fusion components anyway, but we have a couple of champs to sort of getting ready, at least for our first Broadmoor fusion, and these can be used again during fusion events where it's like a champion chase tournament and you can just fuse yourself a free void epic for some free champion chase tournament points. So that's something that I'm planning around doing where I can as well. Of course, we can probably only be really fusing the rare champions for the time being because frankly we're not going to have any way to get our hands on these void rares for quite a long time, and so this is really just planning ahead. What I'm mostly doing is just storing and just putting some of these fusion component champs in my vault, and we have a few of each just kind of tucked away, some levels on just one of them, but again, this is all just like super long-term stuff that you can do, just tucking away some of these uncommon fusion champions, just one or two of each one, just so you have them ready in your vault for future use, and just to make sure that you've got some ready as like a backup to get these fusions done when the time comes. And now, as for campaign progress and as for like dungeon progress and stuff, sadly we are... Oh my god, I actually was able to clear a stage 10 on Dragon. When the hell did I do that? It must have been very sketchy, but okay, lovely. So we are already able to clear stage 10 on Dragon, which is like the bare minimum stage that you want to be able to farm on dungeons, and so it's a really good sort of milestone to aim for in the first like month of your account, is looking to be able to farm stage 10 of basically all of the dungeons that you possibly can. Some are harder than others. Dragon is a great one because again, it drops that speed set. That's just so important to farm up when there's a Dragon tournament active for an early game account, because the speed set is just useful on so many champs. It's only a 2-piece set as well, so it's very versatile and you can squeeze it in on many champs. And speed is frankly the best stat in the game, so that's going to help us out quite a bit. Stage 10 is great to farm because it's still relatively cheap in terms of energy, but it also cannot drop 3-star artifacts, right? The cutoff here begins at 4 stars, which is a big leap up from stage 9, where you're going to be getting a lot of useless stuff, right? 3-star artifacts, they're useful for like the first 2 or 3 weeks of your account, and then they're just worthless, right? And the same thing will happen a month later with 4 stars as well. Of course, we're really hoping to start collecting as much 5-star gear as we possibly can from stage 10, again, as soon as a Dragon tournament begins, man. So one thing that I've not actually upgraded and paid too much attention to on my market is, well, unlocking the slots in the market. I've unlocked as many slots as I needed to get my hands on any ancient shards that showed up in the market. 5 can show up per month, right? And so you're going to have to do that to get your hands on those ancients, and it's very important that you do. But I'm not rushing to upgrade all of these market slots. If an ancient shard shows up here, fair enough, man. I'll pay whatever I have to get it. The ancients are just too important to miss, right? What I will say is, beware the market, boys. Beware upgrading the market, because Plarium have plans to rework the market at some point in the future. This is something that they mentioned in like some kind of community Q&A or community announcement or something somewhat recently, and they were very vague about it, and we have no idea what the changes are going to look like. But they were talking about changing the market in a way to make it updated. They just don't like the way that it's designed, and so I would say be quite careful as a new player about max upgrading your market anytime soon. Like, don't rush to do it unless you need to upgrade it to grab an ancient shard that shows up. I think that is worth mentioning, and that's why I haven't fully upgraded the market just yet. Also, I've been spending the gems on more important things as well, so that's worth mentioning too. And alright, man, that is the free-to-play account so far. Of course, we're about to get our hands on High Cartoon as well the next day over, and so the account's going to look a lot better very soon, okay? Trust me, I'm kind of running out of champs that I want to take up to level 60 on this account, at least with any kind of agency. You know, there's a lot of champs I'm fine to leave at level 50 for a while. The Ancient Shard pulling event, I'm certain, is going to do a lot to fix that as well. So that is how we are going. Once again, man, if you do want to go ahead and play along with this free-to-play adventure, then make sure to start your new free-to-play or alt account using the beginner promo link down below, man, to kickstart your account with 4 free epic champions. Which, by the way, Plarium gifted me this crazy promo link a week and a half after I started my free-to-play account. Like, what the hell is all that about, man? It's like they were watching the channel and just trolling the hell out of me. Not that I got off to a bad start or anything, but goddamn, dude, it could have been so much better with this promo link. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you guys did enjoy this one, and I'm gonna catch all of you all just a tad bit later, man.